Hello viewers, you are watching OBN Horn of Africa, our weekly program Invest in Ethiopia. Today we will be discussing the role of agricultural development in boosting investment of a nation. To discuss these issues, I joined by Dr. Samuel Tufa from the Oromia Agricultural Research Institute. Till the end of our program, stay tuned. Doctor, a warm welcome to this program.
Thank you.
First, would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Samuel Tufa. I'm a senior researcher in range and agricultural ecology based in Oromia Agricultural Research Institute, and I currently coordinate agricultural transformation in Oromia.
Could you tell us the current status of agriculture in Oromia in particular and in Ethiopia in general?
The agricultural activities in Ethiopia in general is subsistence, and its production is not surplus. So to boost this type of production, there are different initiatives that are being undertaken by Ethiopian government, and that has actually boosted the agricultural production that contribute to the national GDP. Because of that, the Ethiopian agricultural sector consistently contributes to more than 30% of the GDP, and it also employs more than 60% of the population of the country. As of 2019, the Ethiopian government have focused on the sector with the national flagship programs such as wheat and multi-barley, rice, and the different initiatives. So if we take, for example, the wheat case, to address the problem of food insecurity, Ethiopia started irrigated wheat production during the off-season using ground and surface water. So these initiatives has been implemented on the area at the beginning of about 4,000 hectares, and since then the area has been increasing, and recently it has achieved wheat self-sufficiency. That means we are not commercially importing wheat as of 2022 from abroad. So this is one of the good indications that we are moving to transform our agriculture. Similarly, the national rice flagship has also been developed with the aim of substituting import, because the consumption of rice has increased almost by 29% in the past 8 years. Because of this, the import volume also increased. That is, it is costing the hard currency when we import any commodity from abroad. So to curb this, the government also started this flagship program to substitute this import by 2026, and after that to export even the rice to neighboring countries. So, for example, in 2023, Ethiopia spent around 2.6 billion US dollar on the import of agricultural commodities, and this significantly increased the cost of healthy diet, in addition to the inflation of the different items we have in the country, because it's only the affluent family that can purchase healthy diet nowadays. As you know, if you are not consuming healthy diet, unhealthy food is not actually food by definition. So it is not possible to say we are really having self-sufficient production in the country. So this poor performance is actually caused by different factors or challenges that can across the value chain, which includes limited use of technologies and suboptimal practices that have been in place since agriculture started in the country. And there are also other biotic and abiotic stresses, like the issue of climate change and the related emerging diseases. This all influences our production. We are also based on often drone farm implementers, which cannot actually boost our production. So these are basically the major challenges that actually challenges the production of Ethiopian agriculture. And after production, you also don't have this uh, post-harvest handling or processing general management. So these all contribute to poor quality of our product, which is actually not well competent on global market. So because of this, uh, currently the Ethiopian government is trying to boost its production by keeping the quality and also trying to accelerate when the global market is looking for those types of products. In line with this, agricultural exports have increased significantly since like 5 years, especially the coffee is on the top export commodity, followed by other crops like the sesame and others. So this is the situation generally we observe in Ethiopia. But when we come to Oromia, Oromia is actually contributing immensely to the national agricultural products, and it almost have a share of close to 70% of the agricultural products of the country, basically with major crops like wheat, barley, haricot bean, and rice. So Oromia is immensely contributing to boost growth in agricultural sector. The Oromia government actually prioritized major commodities and cereals, horticultural crops, pulses, livestock, and the natural resources as well. If we start from cereals, for example, the regional government produces about 62 of the nation's wheat and cultivates about 60% of the wheat area of the country. This is actually big contribution if you see one single region having this amount of percentage in national agricultural contribution. In 2023 and 2024, we started this rice initiative because of that national flagship and also regional agricultural transformation initiatives. Because of that, about 80% of the nation's rice production is now from Oromia, and about 83% of the area which is used for rice production is also in Oromia. Similarly, barley is another commodity that the region also excels, contributing 68% of the national production. Um, and therefore, when we see these cereal crops, Oromia is really dominating. It is contributing like the larger part of the agricultural production.
Well, you have mentioned many of initiatives introduced by the government over the past 5 years. Uh, do you think the current initiatives on food self-sufficiency free Ethiopia from centuries-old trend of poverty?
Yeah, I think the poverty has already been the characteristics of this country. However, because of the agriculture is now moving, we also started achieving some very exemplary milestones, like as I said, the different initiatives, especially the wheat and multi-barley, for example. We stopped totally commercially importing from abroad. So if we really engage in developing on different varieties that can really adapt to our conditions in different agroecologies, we can really bring change and also remove this bad name that our country bear for many, many years. So because of these initiatives, as you know, the world also started recognizing the achievements. As you know, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations has awarded the prestigious FAO Agricola Medal to the Ethiopian Prime Minister, Dr. Abiy, very recently for his commitment to food security and the nutrition in wheat self-sufficiency. So these types of recognition can actually mean this can change the bad name of the country, you know. So if you work on keeping these types of momentum and also include other initiatives, like I said, the rice initiatives, the multiple initiatives, we can really get the good names. We can be as we are said, we are the watershed of Africa. We can be also the bread basket of Africa. So this can help to get a good name for our country as well.
Well, what is the role of Agricultural Research Institute in supporting the Ethiopian agricultural sector in general and the food security initiative in particular?
Well, in my view, agriculture and the food security are two sides of the same coin because we can't think of food security without developing our agriculture. So to develop our agriculture, also we need technologies, and research institutes are actually engaged in developing highly tolerant crop varieties for livestock breeds, especially which are tolerant to emerging diseases or general pests or environmental shocks in general. Because of climate change nowadays, our agriculture is facing different shocks, be it water stress, in the form of water logging or form of drought, or even other unforeseen scenarios, because we don't know really what climate change holds or what the future holds, especially in the face of climate change. So these types of new challenges can only be answered by research through generating new technologies and information. And therefore, without research technologies and information, Ethiopia's agriculture cannot be developed and food security cannot be ensured. So research is a solution, even for the unforeseen challenges that are coming due to the changing world. So we have many technologies and informations already that have been developed by research institutes, be it regional or the federal or international institutes like the CGR centers. However, some of them are obsolete because some challenges are very new. Our old solutions may not solve them. Therefore, to get new solutions to new challenges, our research system must be very strong and capacitated. If we take, for example, only this year, we have, as Oromia Agricultural Research Institute, we released about 34 crop varieties which excel in many traits than the already released crop varieties. For example, in the form of adaptability to water stress or tolerance to disease or productivity or whatever criteria you use to compare. So this type of technologies can always keep our production sustainable. If we are not releasing every time, because we are living in dynamic world, our environment is changing, we have to adapt to this changing environment. Otherwise, it is really very difficult to live in these dynamic situations. Therefore, we have to cope up with these changing situations and catch up with what the environment is giving us. So, in that regard, we have really achieved it everywhere by producing different crop varieties, and we have also uh, develop different, agronomic practices. For example, some of the developed varieties, they have their own package, they have their own seeding rates, they have their own sowing dates, they have their own fertilizer rates. These practices have to be part and parcel of the package for uh, proper production of the released variety. So when we say one technology is, for example, released, it will have accompanying different information that can help farmers to produce properly. So I mentioned only crops, but we have different types of research in livestock. Even within livestock, we have dairy or beef, poultry, egg, fishery, you name it. So there are many types of research that are going on. We have basically 9 different research directorates in our research system and about 80 research centers across Oromia. So these are all working on developing new technologies, generating new informations that can be used by farmers and other stakeholders who work on agricultural activities.
Thank you, Doctor. As you know, Ethiopia is one of the developing countries that have adopted the climate resilient green economy strategy. How effective do you think the strategy has been?
All right. Yeah, Ethiopia has implemented this ambitious climate resilient green economy strategy since I think 2011, with the aim of achieving economic growth that's resilient, especially in the face of environmental shocks, particularly climate change. So they are also aiming at zero net greenhouse gas emission, um, I think by 2050. So to really achieve this, they also said about 4 pillars, and those of the achievements that I have already mentioned, some of them fall under these 4 pillars. For example, the first pillar says improving crop and the livestock production practice for higher food security and the farmer income while reducing emission. We also try to mitigate these climate change effects by having some local activities that reduces emission. So by reducing emission means we use practices that can sequester carbon from atmosphere. As you know, some of the agricultural activities can also emit the greenhouse gases, which contribute to the climate change. So we try to minimize those types of activities, which minimizes really the greenhouse gas emissions. And we also adapt to the changing climate. One of the elements of the climate smart agriculture is adaptation, in addition to mitigation and the productivity increase. So by adaptation, we also develop different technologies. We use those technologies um, to really minimize the emission and also to really keep producing under the changing environment. That's what we mean by adaptation. So we have to really consider the productivity as well. Unless we have productivity maintained in our system, we can't have sustainability in our agricultural system. So this is number 1 pillar in this climate resilient green economy. The second pillar is protecting and reestablishing forests and restoring degraded areas. The advantage of these degraded areas is that they have the potential to capture greater amount of carbon. And as you know, it's almost only it's the only green plant that it's only green plants that can trap carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. That means mitigation. So when we plant trees, in this Green Legacy Initiative, we have different tree plantation. We produce seedlings, and then annually we have always these types of campaign at all levels, be it federal or regional, at every level, even the farmers, everyone is working on this. This can really contribute to the ecosystem services. Carbon stock is one of the um, ecosystem services that we can get from our ecosystem. The third pillar of the climate resilient green economy is expansion of electricity generation from renewable sources of energy for domestic and regional markets. As you know, I think on February 2022, the Prime Minister officially inaugurated power generating at the GERD, which is the largest largest hydroelectric plant in our country. And we also finished many of the dams and the reservoirs across the country. So these all are contributing to the green economy. And the fourth very important pillar of the green economy is leapfrogging to modern and energy efficient technologies. Nowadays Ethiopia is planning to really import much of the electric cars, for example, to contribute to the transport to mitigate emission. And they are also trying to facilitate roads that can really enhance use of environmentally friendly transportation means like bikes. Bikes. So, as you know, the Ethiopian towns almost, I think in Oromia, all towns are, expanding their roads. This is to give way, like walkways and bike lane and also different means of transportation that can also mitigate emissions. So these are some factors really that can contribute to the success of the green legacy or the climate resilient green economy, and we are getting successful really. Therefore, the climate resilient green economy strategy is already being successful when I see these different projects which have already been finished, and the one which are also ongoing are really, really will be successful.
Finally, if you have any message to add, you can do it.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Actually, to transform agriculture, first, for the Ethiopian agricultural transformation, there should be an investment in it. Without investment, you don't expect any return. And if you see, there is Maputo Declaration, which is Ethiopia is also a signatory, that states allocation of at least 10% of public expenditure to the agricultural sector. And if we see the current allocation of our budget to the agricultural development, it is 1.5 times away from that declaration. And the same declaration also states that for our agricultural research, the allocation of budget should be 1% of the public expenditure. And if we see the current research budget, it's also about 2.8 times away. When I say away, it's below that declaration. So the government has to think of investing in agriculture at least the amount which has been already signed for. Secondly, the country possesses different opportunities. It has many potentials. If you see our land, we have irrigable lands which have not been really touched so far. We are just starting irrigation, and we have also a lot of water sources, both in the surface and the underground, and we are also located in very good strategic location because we have high demand in the local market demand for our commodities. So if we can keep the balance of the quality and the quantity and also produce when the market demand our products, really we can fetch better revenue for our countries that contribute to the GDP of the nation. And the other opportunity we have is really the young population, especially nowadays. You can see a lot of people educated and graduated from university looking for job opportunities in many parts of the country. So when we think of transformation, we have to also consider educated power. So we have like about 80% of our population are young, aged, active population which can contribute to the agricultural production. So we have to educate them, we have to train them, we have to capacitize them and engage them in agriculture so that they can really generate some income for their livelihood, also contribute to the development of the nation. The other thing we have to also think of agro-processing, this contribute to, the value of the product. When we process, our products can fetch better price, and it also can get better shelf life. Some of the agricultural products are easily perishable, in very short period of time. So we have to process it. We have to really brand it. We have to really keep organic. Sometimes some of the products can also be very organic because we can have different corner of the country that cannot use, for example, these synthetic agrochemicals. If you take the agropastoral communities, their livestock is actually, they depend on the natural pasture, which is grown only by rainfall. You don't have any other inputs in the form of agrochemical or whatever. So this type of products can also fetch better price globally if we can keep the quality. And we have to also use the opportunity of our agricultural policy. Nowadays, government is really advocating for agricultural transformation at the national and the regional levels. So we have to really use this opportunity if we have to show our capacity.
Dr. Samuel Tufa, a senior researcher at the Oromia Agricultural Research Institute. Thank you for your time and a deep insight on our program. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Dear viewers, this brings us to the end of our program. Thank you for watching.